leave Joe when the kids grew up. By the time they grew up, there was nowhere to go. This tells us that things between Shirley and Joe have been bad for a long time, and Shirley doesn't have much control over her life. And Shirley feels jaded about her life, and she said the only good things are things in the past. She missed the life when she was young. Then she gets an opportunity that Jane invites her to go to Greece for a fortnight with her. He hesitates about going to Greece. She ponders the pros and cons of the invitation. She wants to go to Greece because she feels her life has become dull and meaningless, and she has somehow lost her true self. When Shirley was a student, she was bored and discouraged about school and also envious of her classmate Marjorie. Marjorie always made Shirley feel small, since she always did better at things than Shirley. Shirley wanted to be like Marjorie, and one day she bumps into Marjorie. Shirley feels unfulfilled about her life because it's nothing good. Marjorie got travel everywhere, which is Shirley always wanted to do. But when she finds out that Marjorie's job involved prostitution, Shirley noticed that her life is not the only one where things turn out which none of them were expected. This makes Shirley think how unhappy she is and feeling she wants more out of life. Shirley still hesitates about the trip. She is afraid she will have has nowhere to go if she goes to Greece. She thinks if she goes to Greece, Joe may replace her with someone else. Shirley is struggling to travel to Greece in the end of scene one. And in Act 1, Scene 2. And the second scene begins with 3 weeks later. Shirley decided to go Greece. She has got everything ready for the traveling. She tells Joe she is going to travel and got strongly opposed because Joe can't accept any change in his life. Shirley thinks spending 2 weeks away from home will get Joe's incomprehension. This will be obstacle of her trip. In these 3 weeks, she bought new underwear and she met her neighbor Gillian. She told Gillian about the play. And after that, Shirley tells her doctor, Milandra, that she is going to Greece. Milandra feels disgraceful to Shirley because she thinks her mother is going to a foreign country pursuing illicit sex. And she quarrels with Shirley and she leaves the house. After that, Gillian comes to Shirley's house and gives her a gorgeous silk robe as a token of support for Shirley's adventure, and as an expression of her regret for never having been brave enough to take an adventure like Shirley. It recovers Shirley's determination, and Shirley is going to Greece. In the Act 2, Scene 1. In Greece, Shirley talks to a rock on the shore. Jane meet, Jane meets a guy and she leaves Shirley alone. Shirley is alone but not lonely. She feels comfortable there. She goes to a bar and meets Costas. He is the owner of the bar. She asks Costa if he can move the table and the chair to the sea to fulfill her dream, and Costas make it. Costa is a romantic person. He invites Shirley to go boating around the island with him. After the boat trip, they have sex. From the first meeting, Costas gives the impression that he is really interested in Shirley and wants to wants have the relationship with her. His displays of affection let Shirley realize how much he had felt uncared for, especially by Joe, as he had become less interested in Shirley sexually. And after the trip, Shirley decides to stay in Greece indefinitely. She has taken a job as a server at the local bar. She realized the tragedy of her unused life and resolves to make the most of the future. She tells the transformation to Joe. She feels alive now. She awaits the arrival of Joe, who is coming to Greece to try to take her back. The last line of the play is Shirley imagines that she will say to Joe, "I'm Shirley Valentine again. Would you like to join me for a drink?" She imagines that she will able to persuade Joe to join in her adventure of self-renewal. In the end, in the end, Shirley learns to love herself. And as I talk about the thing, her self-identity and quest for self-affirmation, fulfillment, and the meaning of life. Shirley wonders when she lost her hopeful and useful self in the beginning. There's no support from her demanding husband. The trip in Greece helps her to find the meaning of life, and she starts pursue the adventure of self-discovery and the freedom. Shirley attempts to escape the loneliness and monotony of her life. She lives in a routine life with Joe that is smothering her. It makes her feel this life will make her real self disappear. And after the trip, she hopes to capture the excitement and free spirit of her single days as Shirley Valentine. And thank you. This is our presentation.
Okay, can you hear me? Hello?
可以，现在听得到老师声音。
All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. So I'm using the cell phone along with the, chat computer. So I just hope it will work. All right. Now I'm going to use the PowerPoint. I don't know if I can still show you, but at the same time, you can download from the Tron class. Okay. Can you do that? Can you download my PowerPoint through the Tron class?
Some people say that Truncast now is out of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Then I will see if I can still do it. Can you see it?
Yes.
Oh, all right. So that's
Yes.
good. I don't know if I can use the viewing. Can you see the whole thing?
You can use the full screen.
I can use the full screen, but I am doing that now. Can you see? No, you
It could be
cannot, right?
lagging.
Huh?
It could be lagging,
Yes.
but no.
Yeah. Okay. Now, yes. Right? Can I change? Right? Yes. So I would do it this way, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So, first, relax. All right. This is our first time trying this online. You might feel nervous. And then also, if you cannot hear clearly, it's all right. You can do self learning, download the PowerPoint, and then you can also study on your own. But at the same time, let's just go through it. I don't want to, again, repeat. Willy knows the background, but somehow, so far so good. Hello, can you hear me clearly?
Sorry.
So far, so good? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Then, well, as long as you are there, it's okay. I just want to make sure, you can follow, and I am clear to you. Okay, so as I said that, William Russell is a very interesting playwright because he didn't get, really so-called high education. He had done so many different jobs, especially, he was a so-called hairdresser, 剪头发的理发匠, hairdresser. So as we see that his mother also a very good hairdresser, and then he started, to work as, kind of worker in different jobs. As we say here, he has worked as a ladies hairdresser, near Liverpool, 利物浦, okay, Liverpool. And then he also stacked stockings. He even cleaned the girdles. And then, after doing several jobs, people actually, suggest that, hey, you can write. Why don't you write something? So not just as a songwriter, he also started to write plays. Okay, many years ago, his play so-called 凡夫俗女, ordinary woman, so-called, educating Rita, 在这里 educating Rita, okay, educating Rita, was a well-known play done by, oops, it's not that clear. Anyhow, I want to change it to yellow color, maybe, huh? Okay, the so-called educating Rita. In that play, Rita was also a hairdresser, and then she met, well, a professor who came to, her salon to do his hair, to have a haircut. And then Rita suggested, she could study, she could learn from this professor. So later on, Rita got into, the college, and then later became a very well-known, well-educated scholar. So in this way, educating Rita, suggesting that everybody get a chance. She can be, as a hairdresser, she can be like a college professor one day. So that's the, synopsis, the plot of educating Rita. As we say, in a like manner, in this play, Shirley Valentine also described a middle-aged woman's wife, a kind of bored or kid, wife. As a mother, as a wife, as a housekeeper, Shirley actually finds that, hey, life becomes so boring. She has to do something. She has a good friend, as we just said, yes, um, inviting her to have a journey, a trip to Greece. So there she is in Greece. She, of course, in different places, she started to be independent. Don't forget, as we say, this woman, as a middle-aged housewife, you know, you can say that she is not really happy because her husband is working, and then her children, her son, and also her daughter has grown up. So now, as a so-called domestic space is her kitchen. So she is not working as a career woman. You can say, hey, she can get a job, she can become a different person. At least she can have her life. But it's not that easy. As we know, that's, this play was set, especially, in the 70s. And then here, as we find that the plot line is not that hard to understand. Okay, a wife who tries to find so-called life, okay, in this kind of humdrum, as we say, drudgery, boring, mother life, mother, wife, housewife, housekeeper. Her life is very much, as we say, burdened or kind of dragged down by this routine life. So she, again, has this chance. So she goes to Greece, and then in Greece, she doesn't have any other income. So she has to find a job. So she becomes, kind of, you can say helping lady, or you can say a bartender, or a kind of helper, whatever she does, as a waitress. Okay, this is what she does. In Costa, a guy she met in Greece. Okay, Costa's, bar, a bar. So she will sometimes cook uh, chips, eggs and chips. This is kind of typical English breakfast, or you can say so-called refreshment, as Shirley and her husband, called a so-called dinner. But it's not really dinner. It's just a light supper. Okay, chips and eggs, chips, potato chips, eggs, as hard boiled eggs, 水煮蛋, okay, hard-boiled eggs. So this is her story, okay. The plot line is very simple, okay. As we just said, that somehow she learns her lesson, because in Greece, as we say, she has a job and she can be economically, okay, financially independent. So this is really a good start for her. And then again, as we find later, yeah, from the setting, as I said earlier, in the very beginning, her life is very much circled in a kitchen, only in the kitchen, you know. So kitchen becomes her domestic space. And then kitchen also becomes the so-called constraint of home. As I said, constraint, constraint. So it suggests certain kind of restriction, limitation, as we say, constraint. Okay, constraint of home. That means her space is very much restricted, not as a home, but later on, kind of limited in a kitchen. Because why? Her husband doesn't really, talk with her, or you can say really caring how she feels. And in this way, her life becomes really narrow. So the place she cooks, for her family, for her husband, but kitchen becomes this kind of domestic space, a constraint of home, and also this narrowness of life. Narrowness, narrow, NARROWNESS, as a noun, to suggest narrowness of life. Her life becomes so narrow, so restricted, and also you can say imprisoned. Okay, so this is the first setting, the set of the first act. And the second act, immediately you can see the beach. Okay, so the open air, the space is kind of expanded from a home, a kitchen, later to Greece, right? Holiday, you can say working holiday, okay, or a kind of open space. She can also go, she can be herself. Then you may say, hey, why doesn't she probably divorce? No, she still cares about her husband, but her husband treat her probably as a piece of furniture. I mean, as a routine, she is a housewife, right? So in this way, the second act, of course, makes a difference. Okay, open space. And here, as we talk about, yes, Shirley Valentine, as we say, from a mother, right? Uh, and also as a housewife, later on, she will have to find her own value. Her own value. Yes, you will say, well, she is married and then she is, to what value of life she wants to, focus on. But again, as we say, everyone, no matter what your age is, right? You will have to find the meaning of your life. So this is what Shirley Valentine, has been doing. All of a sudden, in Greece, she can see different people. She can see, of course, a bigger, a larger space. And then also, she wants to find the meaning of her life. So she started to, again, look back her life. And of course, before she steps out of her home, that's also a challenge because, as we say, what will be the obstacles? Her husband, right? She depends upon her very much. He complains, and also later, as we say, that he probably doesn't want her to have a trip because he himself doesn't like to travel. And then her daughter, well, her son is okay, but her daughter somehow considered, why? Why are you going away, with your friend? What are you doing? You are a mother and I need you. But again, she seemed to forget that her mother also needs her own life. So instead of encouraging her to take, this trip to Greece, she said, hey, you what? You want some adventures? You want some sex maybe? Otherwise, why a middle-aged woman want to, again go to have a journey, right? A trip to Greece. So this is, again, a kind of obstacles, as we say, that she didn't really have the support from her husband nor her daughter. Okay. And then, as we say, her neighbors. Okay. And also, she come to meet her as we find that her friend also encourages her indirectly, okay, to find her value, herself. Okay, so over here, as we say, the characters, yes, apparently this is again initiation, okay, or you can say a journey of finding herself back. Maybe when she was young, when she was a junior high, senior high, even kind of earlier, younger days, Shirley Valentine did have some ambition, have her own dreams. Everybody has a dream, right? So this way, Shirley Valentine also finds her old self back. That means probably younger self, not really old self. Here, as we say old self, that means before she became a wife. So this is the journey that she will find hope and also self-confidence in a way. Okay, so this is the reason after marriage, I don't mean that she can have her confidence. She does, but by and by you will know that how a woman can be consumed, with the family life and also raising children, this and that. They actually have forgotten themselves. They have forgotten that they also have, and should have a selfhood, right? So this is the reason, as we say, yeah, later on, instead of being a housewife talking to herself in the kitchen, talking to the wall, okay, in the very beginning, we can also turn the pages. Yes, in the very beginning, she just say, hey, wall, right? Yeah, don't I, wall, talking to the wall. So lack of communication, lack of caring, love. Okay, her husband still loves her, as we say at the end. He kind of overcomes his fear, because he doesn't really like to travel. But at the end of the play, it seemed to be a kind of open ending, also a happy ending, because Joe, who doesn't like to travel, finally, finds the courage to travel, and then he goes to Greece to find Shirley and ask Shirley to come back home. So that's also suggests her husband Joe also cares about her, right? And Shirley too. We can see that Shirley feels that needs a holiday. Yes. So at the end, you can find this journey of initiation. Yes. Shirley by and by can find herself, her confidence, and also her love, you can say, back. And then her husband understand her better, so it's a happy ending. But Shirley, as we say, yeah, we have to go through different stages. Okay. It's not that easy to find herself back right away. Yeah. We'll have to the break. 5 minutes later, we can come back to see how. Okay. How does she do it? And then with different stages, she again can know herself better, and then know how to communicate even with her family. Okay, so we can just get a 5 minutes break, and then you can do something. Okay, we'll come back later. Thank you.
OK，谢谢老师。
谢谢，谢谢。呀，你说什么？那个
呀，
档案可以看还是不可以看？刚才有同学讲一个什么，我来看一下。
老师 Trunk Class 没有提供下载
啊？这样，好吧，所以你们只能在那里看，是不是？好，
对，
好，我不知道我之前可以下载，好，
没有，你要把它打开，
那我上去再看一下，
应该把它锁起来了。
那我现在先不跟你们分享哈，你们也休息一下。好 ，OK， 好，我去Trunk Class 看一下能不能上去。我觉得Trunk Class 也怪怪的，最近也怪怪的。
对，他这2天一直宕机。
对，我也跟他们讲了，但是好吧，我们再看看。现在希望可以上去。OK， 呀，因为手机的萤幕是比较小一点。
所以老师，你现在在 ES511哦？
对对对，我就是直接来办公室，因为我怕停电。
哦，
昨天我们宿舍那边有，我就担心，对，我就想我干脆来学校这边，对，没想到这台电脑，也是
麦克风不行。
对，为什么麦克风不行，我也不知道。好，我还特地带一个耳机来，可是好像也没有用。
它有麦克风的接收器吗？
对啊，我的耳机是有的耶，所以我听得到你们的声音啊。但是对，所以我刚才就想，好，那我就赶快再把我的手机整个连线来试试看。这样
你的手机电够吗？
不知道我就等一下也要再来看一下，应该还行吧。我就之前赶快有先充电了，对，呀，好，没问题。我现在已经把它做连接，可以看，好，
好，那大家
应
去下
该可以。
载吧。
对，先去下载，对，呀，好 ，OK。因为我们也可以做一些讨论，大家等一下也许也可以。然后在那个窗 class 上，我有给你们一个连接，那个是我找到一个电影Shirley Valentine 的电影，我也觉得它很好，还算是 OK 的啦，那个 YouTube 上的，对，所以大家也可以把那个 YouTube 的也可以看一看，
可以下载了，
好 ，OK，Good。
不过就是大家还是要跟上老师在分享的画面，然后去看现在老师讲到哪一页，然后
对对，
再来看
因为我也会用
这档
手
案。
机这样先看，对，呀，因为我觉得大家 relax，因为说实在，真的都跟不上，也不是世界末日，OK 的，不用太担心，我很好奇，如果大家的麦克风都还是用举手的方式，就是想发言的同学可以随时按一个举手就可以问问题，或者说可以随时打断我，这样我们就可以随时讨论，这样子大家如何？好哈，就可以按一个小手，有用吗？对啊。是 Alfred，what did you say？
我没有，我刚才就是说 OK 这样子。
好 ，all right。So actually, your microphone, right? You can also close it, right? You can turn off and turn on. Can you?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So everybody can do that. Yeah. When you want to say something, you can also turn it on. Yeah. And if you feel fine, you don't want to say anything, you can just turn it off. Yeah. In this way. Right. So far so good. Do you have the play with you? Huh? Yes.
Yeah.
You do, right? You should have a play with you. Yeah. So maybe we can also, go to several pages later. In that way, you can also check how Shirley Valentine, learns to find herself back. And then also there are several aphorisms, 金言警句, several interesting ideas. Yeah, so way you can understand better, and at the same time you also can, go YouTube to find this, play, adapted into the film. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Okay.
所以大家可以看到我举手的这个显示状态吗
Yeah, I do.
？OK，
How? Yeah, everybody should be able to. Okay. Yeah. Right. Who is this HA? Who is this HA?
这个有些同学如果不是用学校的 GAPP 账号，或者是您在设定学校 GAP 账号没有用自己的本名的话，可能老师会比较难辨识是哪位同学。
Right. I really don't know who's who.
刚才他说的是 Alice，
Okay. All right. Does everybody come back yet? Shall we continue? Yes. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So we will again continue. Let me see if I can show. I will show the page. How do I? Yeah. Okay. Here. I actually will, because we can see. Yeah. All right. This page. Yeah. Page number 9. If you have downloaded your PowerPoint PDF, check. Strange. Yeah, I don't think I can use viewing because it doesn't really show. I can just, no. Right? This is seem to be bigger, larger. Yeah, I can enlarge it a bit. Okay. So let's say, as I just said earlier, that Shirley Valentine has a journey. So this is a journey of finding her value, a journey that everybody can take from one place to another, from the kitchen to the beach, from England to Greece. Why choosing Greece? But again, as we say, Greece itself, suggesting the old civilization in the very beginning, right? As we say that, yes, the Greek civilization, Greece itself, can transform this housewife. So this is a kind of a transformation that Shirley Valentine goes through. Shirley, yeah, her name is Shirley Valentine, but her husband's name is called Joe, Joe Bradshaw, Bradshaw. So you must know that her name becomes Shirley Bradshaw. So this is the reason that she said that she also later on compares herself, Shirley Valentine, and also Shirley, okay, not just the things that she compares in her current life with what she used to be like, okay. So this is the reason that she feels she is stagnated. 我们用这个字 stagnated 就好像是在死水一般被限制住 stagnation 你查的话就死水一潭 stagnated in a rut 好像在一个壕沟里面在一个时常走的 you know kind of routine as we say in a rut R-U-T rut okay so she feels she is stagnated and also in a rut. So she wants to have some changes, right? So changes happen when she later moved from England. Well, you can say her home, yes, England, to later beach or a kind of, kind of open space in Greece. Then if you ask, yeah, if not Greece, will this, so-called transformation still happen? Maybe, maybe not. As we say, a lot of people, right, go traveling from one place to another. They just go shopping. They probably do not really change. So we have to think what triggers her changes, right? Okay, so this is the reason as we find, yes, as I said earlier, the humdrum, yes, 这个字在这里出现 humdrum. That means, this kind of routine, hustle and bustle, and also kind of boring lifestyle. 注意 boring. 我们要说 Shirley Valentine, Shirley feels bored. 人一定要用 ed, okay? But she feels her boring. 是 but you are interested this suggestion or this idea or this proposal. So this is the part, as we said, yes, Shirley has lost herself, yes, 有点迷失了 in this humdrum lifestyle of a housewife with kids grown. 也是一个空巢期 kids grown, kids are all grown up. They have their own, friends and also life. They do not really mother that much. Although in this play, Melandra, after having some quarrels with her roommates, her friends, she also comes home and immediately she wants her mother to do this and to do that, treating her mother as her maid in a sense. But you can say, well, daughter is like that, yes, asking her mom to do this and to do that for her. This is the way that Shirley knows that who is she, what kind of life she wants to have. Okay, and then her husband, as we say, not really saying that her husband does not love her. Her husband does. Her husband also, is hardworking, but by and by they become indifferent. 有点漠然, as we say, indifferent. So this is the way here. Both of them are all stuck. They are stuck in this kind of boring routine. Her husband too, as we say, indifferent husband, yeah, stuck in his own boring routine. She later, want to go a holiday. And then, of course, later on, it's more than a holiday. She later on stays there for, couple months at least. Okay, not just couple days, probably couple weeks to months until her husband really couldn't stand it any longer and then goes to Greece to get her back. at least, to again maybe share a holiday, in Greece. So this is a way, she seemed to go back to herself, to the girl she once was, and then she can find her identity back. We usually use the word identity. It's kind of common term, but again, as we say, find herself or her confidence, or you can say her value. All right. So also change, yes, to several words to say that, yes, she actually wants to find her value, herself back. Okay. And then I want to again talk about her husband. Yes. Joe somehow is really, a hardworking husband. Yeah. But as we say, yeah, the work itself kind of dragged him down, and he by and by, just take everything for granted. Okay, on page number 4, go to page 4, when Shirley, marriage, okay, she says in the very beginning, line 3, she says, knows what I'd like to do? Yes, I'd like to drink a glass of wine in a country where the grape is grown, sitting by the sea, looking at the sun, but he won't go abroad. Her husband doesn't like to, travel. Okay, well, you see, he gets jet lags when we go to the Isle of Man. And well, I wouldn't mind, we go by boat. We've been going there for 15 years. He still won't drink the tap water. It's that type. You see, Joe, the culture shock if we go to Chester. That means Joe is quite conservative. But by and by, this kind of, we say, reliable, personality can make him kind of insensitive. Insensitive， 我们就说，好像不会很主动去体贴啊，a little bit insensitive, to his wife's feelings， 比较不体贴了，insensitive. If one is sensitive enough, then she would say, oh, do you like this way? Do you like that way? No, 老夫老妻, you see. So you can see that they've been together, at least 20 years, maybe. So in this way, he becomes kind of, as we say, just a husband, not really a good friend, she can talk to. So this is the reason here. Again, he said that jump about 3-4 lines down. He said, if I want to, yeah, but I know just right. Jen is Shirley's friend who invite her to Greece. But Jen, of course, yeah, we later on will talk about Jen, all right? Here, he says, it's logical. Yeah, they're logical. But like I said to her, Jen, logic into this, into marriage. 就像有人说呀，婚姻里面你谈不了什么逻辑理智思考。Sometimes you need to give more allowance. Well, either husband or wife will have to put up a lot of things. Sometimes you use logic to argue. It doesn't work, right? Because husband and wife should, again, as we say, share and also burden certain kind of responsibilities, right? So over here, 这是下面page 4, still page 4, around the middle, 他就讲到有一句非常有名的，他说什么 ？Marriage is like the Middle East, isn't it? 中东一直在打仗，总都扯不清。That means no matter, Pakistan or Israel or Iraq or Iran, or, they have different religious, right, beliefs, and then they have different reasons. There's always conflict and strifes and wars. So this is the part here. Shirley said that marriage is like the Middle East. It doesn't mean fights or wars, or conflicts, but it says that you cannot use a simple logic or reason to explain, this kind of, marriage. So this is the reason it says that there's no solution. You jiggle things around. Jiggle, that means 就像是在什么这个 as a circus, one will throw 5 balls, right? 丢5个球 at the same time. You have to keep the balance. You have to keep going. You see, you jiggle things around a bit. Give up a bit here, take a bit there. Deal with these flare-ups when they happen. Okay, so this is the situation. Marriage isn't that easy. This is what Shirley means. And then she also says that, but most of the time, you just keep your head down. Observe the curfew. The curfew, that means, 就像是防空演习的时候，晚上不可以出去curfew. 几点一定要回到家, we say that's the curfew. Observe the curfew. That means certain principles, certain regulations. 就是有时候夫妻之间有各的地雷，你不要去碰到。Observe the curfew and hope that ceasefire holds. 所以其实讲的也就是婚姻本身marriage itself is not that easy. Sometimes when one is angry, the other should have a time out. You have to, again, just keep your head down. 躲过这个波 keep your heads down. 把头低低的 right? 躲过先飞一阵的子弹 you see? Observe the curfew. 晚上就不要随便出去 right? 该做什么做什么 Observe, that means obey or follow certain regulations, certain principles, okay? And hope for the best. The ceasefire, that means no fire, right? 停火 ceasefire, 停火 right? Holds. So marriage is like this. And then she said, of course, that was when Jane, again, she only gone and paid for me to go, hasn't she? Yeah, she handed me the tickets this morning. So she gets the tickets. She said, yes. You see, 这就是她的本名了 Bradshaw, you see, as Shirley, Mrs. So this is actually her full name, Shirley, Mrs. Shirley Bradshaw. Into room 19, we studied, about the Rawlings, right? Susan and also Matthew Rawlings' marriage. Intelligence. Intelligence fails. That means if you have only reason, you have only intelligence, but no feelings, no heart, sensitivity or sensibility or certain kind of emotion, to have a balance. You are dry, you will be killed. That's the reason. So again, as we see on the ticket, it says Bradshaw, SMS, right, MRS, and then BD 58. June 23rd, 7, right, in the evening, from man to court, blah, 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 So, again, it suggests probably man, maybe Manchester, and then to or a certain place in Greece. So Jen said, "Oh, she didn't want to go on her own, so she invited Shirley to go." All right. So this is the part, and then again on page 5. Okay. She said that her husband really kind of rely on her very much. Okay. So in the new paragraph in the very beginning, she returned the ticket to her bag, and then she said, one time I said to him, if I said I was off to Greece for a fortnight, okay, fortnight, right? 2 weeks. Yeah. We learned this word fortnight in what? The basement room. 还记得吗? The basement room. Philip Lane's parents actually would go on their vacation for fortnight. 所以这个字 fortnight, 2 weeks. Yeah, 就指 2 weeks. She said, "Oh, if I tell him that I will go, to Greece for a fortnight." 所以你就知道这是英国式的说法哈，他们就不会讲 2 weeks， 他们就说 for a fortnight. He would think it was for the sex. Oh, wouldn't he? Well, 2 women on their own going to Greece? Oh, well, isn't it? 一般人的想法啊，所以他就说 I wouldn't mind. Oh, I'm not even particularly fond of it. Sex. Am I? Not. So she said that I'm not into sex. 有没有无所谓. Okay, so you can imagine here, she apparently suggests that she is not, like the other, women want to have some adventure, but she just need a vacation. So jump about 6 lines down. She said one time, she said, oh, Melandra, her daughter, okay, her daughter's generation, because it's different for them, isn't it? They discovered that, you see, the clitoris 什么意思呢? The clitoris kids, I called them. That means, yeah, they really find how to, young people, you can imagine this is the time for sexual liberation, 性开放, and then those girls of sudden, would love to have necking, 就跟人家拥吻啊, necking, necking. 这个字我们有时候在这个 Philip Larkin 的诗里面，大家还记得吗？那 High Window 里面他就提到，哎呀，当2个年轻人在角落，他就知道他们在干嘛。You see， 一定是抱在一起，一定是享受哈。Yeah, sex. You see, so 那讲到这个字，也就是阴和就是讲白一点呀，有的时候不用进去哈。那我们就知道。在非洲女人要被割掉，就是把前面的这个 clitoris 给去掉，就只剩下阴道这种，等于说只是给男人去所谓的传宗接代，甚至享用，女人完全享受不到任何的性行为带来给她的欢愉。As we say, no clitoris. Usually, very much like, as we say, lips. 我之前也提过呀，我想大家都是大人 ，OK 。with this kind of, suggestion, as we say, our human body is very much a pair. 就像我们的嘴唇就像clitoris， 所以他就叫这些年轻人的世代，就是说 clitoris kids. I call them, good luck to them. 我祝福他们他就讲 I don't begrudge them anything. 我不会因为说我自己没有享受到，我就不给他们。Begrudge 就是说最恨到看到别人有而自己没有，就有产生一点怨恨，就用 begrudge 这个字 begrudge I don't begrudge them. 不要舍不得给他们，意思是这样Yeah, I don't begrudge them anything. But when I was a Nobody never heard of this clitoris in those days. 所以你就知道，马上他就提到世代不同。You know, in those days, everyone thought it was just a case of in, out, in, out. Shake, get all about. Stars light up the sky, and the earth would tremble. 都是讲这些啊，就说无关紧要的话 you know. So again, he said the only thing that trembled for me was the headboard 床头柜吧 on the bed. That's all. 所以在这里你就看到态度。But at the same time, she said, but you see, the clitoris, you know, again, hadn't been discovered. 那时候大家都没发现这些 had it? I mean, obviously, it was always there, like penicillin and America, you know, America, but it was there. It was there, but it's not really there until it's been discovered. 就像是哥伦布发现新大陆，他说新大陆一直在那儿Oh, maybe I should have married Christopher Columbus. Oh well, I was about 28 when I first read clitoris. Wow, it was that interesting. Apparently, 他又讲了 it was all Freud. 弗洛伊德的错 Yes, Sigmund. You see, what happened was Freud had said that there were two ways for a woman to have a orgasm. And well, the main one could only be caused by having muscles inside stimulated. Okay. And the other orgasm, okay, it was supposed to be like an inferior, second-rate one. 就说was caused by this little clitoris. Now you see, that's what Freud has said. Everybody had believed him. Yeah, well, you wouldn't. Well, would you? I mean, Sigmund Freud, who's gonna argue with Sigmund Freud? I mean, yeah, say you're just standing at the bus stop and then you suppose and Freud comes along, you say to him, so this bus go to, you know, for Zachary, and then he nods and say to, yes, this is one bus go to Zachary, and then you say, well, you get on a bus, wouldn't you? And I will tell you, that means, again, what does Shirley mean? Of course, to suggest that, yes, you know, some celebrities, some famous scholars always instill, 灌输, instill people certain kind of idea. Okay, such as if you take on this bus, you will go. If you do this, okay, you will enjoy sex, and you must. And suppose you don't enjoy sex, that's your own fault. You see, because some famous scholars have said, yeah, it's marvelous, you know. Yeah, you certainly should have this and that. But again, here, this kind of conversational dialogues to show that Shirley, of course, is, imagine, you know, talking to the audience on stage all by herself. Yeah, if you are, okay, there, if you were Shirley, what would you do? You know, as the director might suggest, you know, somebody else, right, to act it out. When she becomes the narrator, soliloquy, the monologue, you know, narrator, on the side of the stage, right, lighting on her, spotlight on her, and then she can say these things. But again, how does this play, you know, get presented on stage? So as we just read this monologue, you know, all the way through, right? You can imagine, how does Shirley, I mean, the one who plays Shirley, to speak all this, to memorize all these lines on stage talking to the audience. Will audience listen to her or fall asleep? Here, now I'm thinking, are you falling asleep or are you listening? Are you thinking? Yeah. If you were Shirley on the stage, yes, right? How do you, right, again, present such, right, such a character? How do you arouse the interest from your audience to give them this kind of picture, right? Kind of visualize whatever she says. Very much, of course, like listening to the radio, right? I remember when I was little, we always listened to the radio, 广播剧, right? Yeah. So this play, I bet, yeah, also was very much developed through the idea of a radio play. But when it's presented on stage, it takes a professional actress, right? Such as, yeah, Pauline. Yeah, as we say, the first one who, showed actually is Pauline Collins. Yeah. All right. So this is the reason, as we find, it's very important, to show that how this play also can be presented on stage. All right. So this is the reason, as we said, yes, it's again our imagination, but at the same time, the professional training of the actress. All right. So as we just said that, yes, Shirley now talks about marriage. Okay. We are now on page 6, right? So I would like to, yeah, again, to read, to also check out just uh, one sentence when Shirley just said, it's like telling people there are 2 Mount Everests. Some people start real mountain, while the rest of us are all running up this little hillock and wondering why the views not very good at the top. Okay, so that actually becomes the metaphor Shirley uses, all right, here, the Mount Everest, right? Everest 有点像什么？这个最高峰, right? Yeah, it could be a kind of radio drama, yes, a radio play show. But you can imagine also, as we say, in a film, in the movies, they can actually put in a lot of, different characters, right, to act it out. Usually, as we said, on stage, sitting in a theater is really different from sitting in a cinema. Yeah, watching a movie. It's different cinematography and also theater skills, or as we say, theatrical techniques. Yeah, along with acting, right? Yeah, acting skills. So this is the part here, as we find when Shirley talk about orgasm, she actually suggests, yeah, some women may get it, but a lot of women. So you can imagine Willy Russell as a man, right? As a male playwright, he is very sensitive, at least sensitive enough to, get into a woman's feeling, a housewife's feeling, to say that, yes, a lot of housewives do not really enjoy life. They do not really. So you can imagine this 很大胆的 very daring, daring, or audacious, as we say, audacious, audacious, yes. When Willy, yeah, Willy Russell, use Shirley to share this kind of, feelings, and also to probably voice a lot of housewives, complaints maybe. Okay, so this is the part. And then again, later, when Shirley talked about her son, Brian, this is not on page 9. I want you to, especially check it out, because this is very interesting. It also shows Shirley's humor, Shirley Valentine's humor. Yeah. Here, usually, that at Christmas time, kids, especially in elementary schools, boys and girls will play Christmas play. Christmas play to suggest Joseph and Mary, trying to find a inn, a hotel, right, a tavern to stay. Yeah, especially in the cold winter. But every inns, right, 每个旅店, are all booked, occupied, right? Or you can say all the inns. So later they will have to stay in the, right, in the, 只能去跟这个牛羊哈马 yeah 这个 stable 住在一起 okay so on page 9 here Shirley also talked about her sons in the middle 你可以看到这个 Virgin Mary 的故事 okay the little innkeeper's lip is going 10 to the dozen, and the Virgin Mary's in floods of tears on the donkey. That means they couldn't find a place to live, to stay. 我不会讲 to live 我差点讲 to live 去暂时住一下我们说 to stay. So well, the innkeeper 后来怎么样他就说finally有没有找到第9页中间的地方 Well, the innkeeper finally grasped that script is well out of window. 他们后来就改编剧本一样因为呢他一直找不到这个 right 旅店后来他就讲 Listen, mate, listen, I was only joking, okay? 你不要哭了 right?演这个 Virgin Mary 的这个小女孩就哭了，她就说好了算了 right listen mate 找到了吗？她说 I was only joking 我开玩笑的啦we have got rooms really 好了那进来吧OK 所以你看他们改编剧本一说小朋友演的时候那这一个有什么好玩呢？他就说 And with that the 3 of them disappeared into the inn end of nativity play and the end of our Brian's acting career 因为 Brian 后来就说好让他进去了 OK 所以你看他们改编了整个圣经历史这个 Joseph 旅店里面这个 stable you see so this is Shirley's sharing of Brian's story. Me and our Brian, we sometimes have a laugh about it now. 现在回想 right? But at that time, I could have died of shame. It was all over the papers. 那时候报纸上还写什么？他说 Mary and Joseph failed to arrive in Bethlehem. 因为他们就住到旅店去了他们没有办法在外面在伯利恒城的这个郊外这个 stable 他就说 I was ashamed it was it's no wonder really that I have never traveled anywhere myself it must be God punishing me for raising a child who managed to prevent Mary and Joseph, reaching their destination. 好好玩 And that was me when I was a girl. The only thing I ever wanted to do was travel. Okay, so now she later on talked about, yes, her junior high, okay, 在中学的时候的故事especially, at the bottom, she said that, yeah, she always remember her teacher, this madam, said that I confidently predict that Miss Valentine will not go far in life. 意思说什么？她的学科都不好，哎呀，大概只能做一些很粗的工作，走不远，做不了好的工作，晋升不了人生的什么大的职位So this here, I feel this give her marks in geography. 她每次分数都得的不好因为她的 geography 分数也很低她的老师这样说她照着她地理的分数，她不管走到哪都会怎么样迷路。She would surely get lost. 你看她说她老师是一匹什么母马。She was a mare that had a mistress. 她的导师 had a mistress。Had a mistress 就是说教室里面就是她的导师。She used to come into assembly, sometimes and ask like a spot question. Whoever got that right, would get lots of house points 会加分。It was nearly always Marjorie Majors. 所以他这时候就会谈到 Marjorie Majors。好，那我们现在再看一下荧幕 ，OK？ 这个 This woman, of course, as we say, Marjorie Majors. Her name, Marjorie, as we say that Shirley, with her neighbor. Later I also will talk about Gillian. And here, her, as we say, high school classmates, but we won't use classmates. As we say, high school friends, Marjorie, okay, just said that, yes, she actually later on also talked to Shirley that she envied her. She would like to be like Shirley. But all the time, just because Marjorie Majors, has rhetoric class, 所以她受过口说的训练. So whenever she speaks, mistress and gives her millions and millions of house points. 给她加很多分数. So this is the reason that Shirley always envies Marjorie Sherry and also Marjorie Majors and also would like to be her. So this is the part also shows that years later, she just said that, you know what, Marjorie Majors, of course, has been the apple in the headmistress' eyes, right? But at the same time, she also says that she knows something. Okay, so on page 10, she actually talks about, this experience when her headmistress asked a question. This is also a very interesting question, such as, who actually, okay, which line? Let me find that for you. Seventh line, line 7. A question. She said to everyone, a question, So her question is, what was man's most important invention? 人最伟大的发明是什么？一大堆人讲什么？有的人讲什么？内燃机，有人讲蒸汽 ，right? Washing machine， 大家注意到有人讲那个。可是呢 ，Shirley Valentine knows because her father, once told her, and especially her father got it from Encyclopedia Britannica 大英百科中间这里第10页中间，你会看到 Encyclopedia 大家也学习一下哈。大英百科怎么讲？百科全书我们就说 encyclopedia，OK，encyclopedia，and then 后面再加一个Britannica，OK，Britannica，yeah，so in that way， 那他就知道，因为答案是什么？车轮子会有。这个会有，大家好像觉得会有，是的，车轮是人类最重要的发明 ，OK， 呀、这个我们也是学到 ，OK， 我呀刚开始念这部剧本的时候就really， so I also went to check Encyclopedia Britannica， yes， 会有的会有 ，OK， 所以很多人都打，你看，后来那我们就说。在这一页最下面的地方 ，OK， Shirley Valentine was really excited. She's saying, "Oh, this time, you know, I may get even the blessings from the Pope." 对不对？因为没有人回答得了，他可以回答。那在这一段其实就讲到教育的重要性。老师对于同学其实有的时候不能以分数来怎么讲，看说他未来有什么才华。这个 Willy Russell 在这部剧里面说的非常的清晰。他在最后那几行他就说 Do you remember the question, Shirley? What was man's most important invention? Well, I pause, you know, 因为我自己在想哇 knowing 他说什么 I was on the brink of receiving at least 43,000 house points and a blessing from the Pope. And then when I said the wheel, it was like this headmistress had been shot in the back. 好像背后被开了一枪。我想说他可能他没有听到我的声音，所以我又说了更大声。他说 I said that again. The wheel miss man's most important invention was 他没有讲完话，可是他说 finish because I was cut off. 你看这个老师说 You must have been told that answer. 那当然他就站起来说 Of course, right? Yeah, somebody must have told me. Otherwise, how do I know? I will never really know, right? 当然，一定是有人教他，一定是他要学习啊。然后这个老师竟然就怎么样，把他一下子打到地狱去了一样。他就说：“你一定是谁告诉你的？你一定不是自己知道的。”他说：“我当然不是不学而知。”所以之后 Shirley Valentine 就变成一个很叛变的小孩。She said, "I hate this. I hate her." 所以他就不管讲什么，他之后就变成一个 rebel。他说：“我就变成一个 rebel。”OK， 因为这老师后来就直接忽视他，甚至不给他加分，甚至都跟他讲说：“什么都没了。”OK， 所以他后来就说：“I didn't hate, but again。”他说：“其实我只是这样讲，我讨厌这个，我讨厌那个。”他说：“其实我最讨厌的是什么？我最讨厌的是自己。我真的很希望能够像 Marjorie Majors 一样。”这里很打动人心。我们看一下，我们就再休息一下11页中间的地方，他就说 ：“But I didn't hate anything, you know. The only thing I hated, was me. I didn't want to be a rebel. I wanted to be nice. I wanted to be like Marjorie Majors. I used to pick on her.” Pick on her 就是找她麻烦挑三拣四挑剔她。I used to pick on her 就使她生气，我们就会这样讲。I used to pick on her something rotten, and I really wanted to be like her. Can you be evil when you are a kid? Yeah, when you are a kid. 他说真的是，有的时候真的是他又后来就 你看，他就用这种association 的方式，注意一个剧作家他如何把这些连贯起来让一个人叨叨絮絮 ，right as a monologue 一直讲，他就 Marjorie Majors I just saw a few weeks ago, didn't I? What? 你看I haven't heard of her for years. 可是呢，就刚好在几个星期前，他说他刚好是 Shirley went down shopping and then it was a rainy day. 那你就知道一辆车经过，啪，溅得他满身都是这个对，不管是雨水，还有那个车溅起来的那个脏水，是最狼狈的时候。一辆车下来，因为他本来是 shopping 结束，他要 take a taxi and then go home. But later she sees Marjorie, again coming from, getting off from the car. So in that way, wow. OK, they meet. 好，所以我们现在先休息一下。那大家要看的话，也可以再看一下第12页。All right, 我们就再看一下。好，休息一下。 Okay, are you back? So we will resume our class. So on page 12, near the bottom, you can see here that when they met, they were really happy to see again each other. And here at the bottom, it says that Major's a high-class hooker. Over here, as we said that they, of course, met in front of the hotel, and then Marjorie Majors invites Shirley to get into her room and give her a shower, warm up. And then here, later on, they kind of exchange the information to see how they are, how they have been, in this years. All right. So Shirley actually thinks that Marjorie Majors becomes a, conquered 斜航客机 because she is flying here, there. But again, we don't know why Shirley has this kind of ideas. Okay, she assumed that Marjorie Majors will, do something great. But Marjorie, again, frankly confessed that she is only a so-called high-class hooker. 高级的社交，你可以讲，但是社交人 this is the reason near the bottom. He said, can you imagine? Marjorie Major, a high-class hooker. Hooker 我们就知道就是一个妓女社交，怎么讲？应该讲高级的社交。对啊，你们都怎么讲？来告诉我一下。什么？高档的那种？我们不讲妓女啊，你还是讲妓女。对，好了，社交名媛。right. Okay, so in that way, they actually know what they are doing, but somehow you see they become so-called celebrity, 比较高档的 So this is the reason. 在这里我觉得是全书里面 I don't know. I have a question, a doubt actually. Will Marjorie Major really that frank? I mean, she will tell her friend that, oh, I am a hooker. My goodness, 这个真的很难想象 right? But somehow 这个我觉得这是这部剧里面让我觉得真的很讶异的地方。OK， 他会直接说我就是一个 hooker， 而且他自己用这样的字对不对？在这里倒数第1/3的地方page 12， 你可以看到他说什么他说 Hey Shirley, I am a hooker, a whore。 他自己这样说，我觉得有点点不可思议。OK， 那等一下大家来讨论一下，看你们的想法如何。All right， 他在这里他就说，你看，他就说 ，Oh really, Marjorie, and all the money your mother spent on elocution lessons， 想一想，对不对？这时候 ，by this time the waitress， 你看在旁边倒水倒茶给他们的都已经吓到，就是 Marjorie 自己讲说 I am a hooker， 你看。所以 by this time the waitress was pouring the tea into the cream bombs. For me and Marjorie, God, we had a great afternoon together. 在这里我们也是讲以前好像看不对眼的，多年以后，居然两个可以促膝长谈。I would say it's a blessing. It's really wonderful. And here 他又讲了Oh, she didn't come lording it over me at all. 就是说她不会趾高气扬的。你看，他就用这个字 lording， 好像是个 lord over me 这样子的一种。 他就说 she didn't come lording at all over me at all. You know, she told me all about the places she works. Yeah, you know, Bahrain, New York, Munich, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you know what she told me? When we were at school, she wanted to be like me. The two of us sitting there at the edify, one's like something out of dynasty, and one out of the backwash. And we are having time confessing that all those years ago, we each wanted to be the other. I was sad when I thought about it. Like the two of us could have been great mates. And you know, really close, maybe, huh? So we didn't have get on, well together that afternoon. Well, in the Alpha, we were remembering all kinds, and I could have sat there forever. Neither of us wanted to leave. But then, of course, yeah, time. Again, to see that Shirley without this meeting, they misunderstood each other, till they die, maybe, till ever forever. But just because that afternoon they somehow get together and then they could have a, you can say, heart to heart chat, right? So they learned here, as I said, that, yeah, do you find a similar experience in your life? Why you wish to be somebody else, maybe wants to be you. You see, it's like that. As we say, life is like that. No guarantee that it's ever forever. It's not really fixed. Nothing is really fixed, right? So this is the time here, as we said, yes, a turning point is going to happen. On page 13, as we just said, in the meeting, it says, yes, in my head, because she said, when sitting in the, on the bus going home, she said, I was crying. I don't know, staring out the window, tears just tripping down my cheeks. And in my head, there's this voice that keeping saying, used to be Shirley Valentine. I used to be Shirley Valentine, right? But now what happened? Turned me into this. I don't want this. Do you remember her war? Remember Shirley Valentine? She got married to a boy called Joe, and then one to live here, and then even though her name was changed to Brad Shaw, she was still Shirley Valentine. That means she can still be herself. Well, she still knew who she was. She used to laugh a lot, didn't she? She used to laugh with Joe. When the pair of them did things together, that means, yes, good old days, you see. When they first painted the house together, when they lived, they really had a great time. They even got into the bath together. 洗什么鸳鸯澡, just because they, when they painted the wall, they had the fight, just for fun. 油漆喷过来喷过去, reason that yes, she said the water was so yellow. 洗澡的时候，他们两个一起在澡盆里面 ，right? Says 都是油漆的颜色 yellow, yeah. And he said, oh, it was like getting a bath in vanilla ice cream. 可见两个人都有幽默感。And Shirley Valentine washed his hair and kissed his wet head and knew what meant. what happened then? You see, what happened to the pair of them, to Joe, to Shirley Valentine? Did something happen, or was it just that nothing happened? 这一点我就要用中文讲一下。我觉得人生呀，以后同学们毕业之后来结婚，可能有一天也会突然想到 Shirley Valentine 的这段话。因为我是过来人的经验，我不是说结婚啊，但是回头看的时候，你会想到说，哎，以前生命的某一点，你好像很灿烂，很开心，渐渐的怎么变成一个你不太像你的一个人了 ，OK？ 那在这里他也讲到，尤其是最后2、3行哈，我觉得非常的写实。他说什么呢？他说 ，Yeah，what happened？ 你真的可以回头去说，你生命中的哪一点，哪一个时刻有某件事发生，而造成了你们两个这么不一样吗？有的时候也许就这样子，日子一天天过，人一天一天受到改变，也许没有真正的什么导火线或者真正的引爆点，但是事情就这样发生了，对不对？就是说人已经变得譬如说有的人臃肿肥胖，这是在外形上，可在内心上可能也是永远就不再学习，永远就是别人说什么就是跟着说一遍而已，而已经失去了自己的判断能力等等，人云亦云 OK？ 也许有一天我们真的不希望会变成那样哈，所以他在这里他就提到了 Yes, it would be easier to understand if something had happened, if I bad with the male Jane， 因为 Jane 她的另外那个好朋友的先生就是跟了另外一个男人在一起。你看，在这个1970年代的作品里面就已经提到了哈，就是这样的一个背景。对，所以其实我们也就是到底发生什么事呢？他就说 ，if there was something to blame 去怪罪，但是他说 ，but there's nothing。回头看所以他是就提到 they got married, they made a home, they had kids, they brought them up, right? And then somewhere along the way, the boy called Joe turned into him, 而 Shirley Valentine turned into this.What I can't remember is the day or the week or the month or the year. 他没有讲when it happened. 真正是这样的吗？是哪一天你可以讲或者是哪一年，或者是哪一个月，或者哪一周，哪一个星期，真正有什么事改变了他们吗？那我们在这里当然就讲渐渐的，我们已经不像我们之前，也许没有雄心壮志了，没有一些我们就说自己的批判思考了，我们就是日子一天天过这样子。所以他就提到，他说 When it stopped being good， 就是这样。When Shirley Valentine disappeared, became just another name on the missing person's list， 在什么失踪人口的名单上面。So she makes 她有自己全职给他说他就说he says 就是 Joe Joe he said he still loved me you know but he doesn't， 他说我不感觉到爱，他只是说I love you 好像一说这个爱事情都解决了所以他就Like it's supposed to make everything all right. You can be beaten and battered and half insane. And if you complain, he will say, Oh, what's wrong? You know, I love you. I love you. They should bottle it. 他说他们应该把这个变成罐装的去卖，去出卖 right? I love you 这个 It kills everything. And you know something?I've always wondered why. Is it that Well, if somebody says I love you, it seems automatically give them the right to treat you worse. 哇，看到这一段很难过，right？ 好像只要讲说我爱你，就好像给对方一个权利，对你更糟，对你更不好，这样。所以在这一段结束的地方，他就说 ，Yeah, you know, when he talked to me at all， 如果他真的讲 ，It's funny, isn't it? I love you， 还是这样讲。所以这时候他说 ，I know， 你看他也会说，观众也会说 ，right？ You're saying what Jen always said, yeah. Why don't I leave？ 这也是我们之前在谈到哈，呀，女人的悲哀，现在的女人比较好了，当然哈 ，a lot better, right? Because at that time 他们就讲了哈 ，With the fact that the matter is， 他说 I don't know why, I don't know why, you know, anyone should put up with a situation in which a 42 years old woman has the opportunity of fulfilling a dream, of traveling just a little bit, just 2 weeks, OK? 而且他也说，你已经讲，为什么你不离开？为什么你就对不对？你可以离婚呢？好，倒数第3行他就说，对不起，第4行，at the bottom, yeah, the 4th line from the bottom, and I am frightened. I am frightened. I am frightened of life beyond the war. 我们就说过了 ，right？ 第一个 ，if you are not financially independent, you don't have income. How do you support yourself? When you support yourself, you need a good job. Well, any jobs, right? But in England, it's not that easy. You know, not that easy. So sometimes I would say that in Taiwan, we are really lucky. Okay, well, anyhow. So this is end of scene 1. And then in scene 2, again, as we say, something happened. Jillian, okay, her friends, because again, on page 18, 我要讲一下哈。On page 18, 我们翻到第18页中间上面一点点的地方，他就说好，讲一下这个 Jillian 哈。What Jillian like? Oh, I'm not saying she's a bragger. 我不会说她是就说一个夸大其词的一个什么brag 就是说谎或者是就是夸张的人。可是呢，他说你如果讲说你去过这个 Paradise 这个地方，然后他就说他有整齐的这个票，所以有的人就是这样，你说一个他有更多哈，然后 you know she's that type. If you have got a headache， 他会讲他有一个 brain tumor， 就是哇更夸张的。Hello Shirley, she said, yeah, because how she talks and know that she begrudges. 对啊，有人不在线上。对啊，it's okay, it's okay. 对啊，好了。他还没有上来。对啊，那他要上来啊？在赖吗？在赖就有个连结，就一点，赖群组一点他就进去了。他们3个都没有赖吗？那3个人是谁？问一下。我们还有3个同学没有进来，从头到尾都没进来大家找一下附近的同学看一下是不是把他们带进来。刚才 Tercy 跑进来跟我说有3个同学都没有糟糕所以可以一边听一边去 LINE 上面把他们找进来，这样子。好 Okay, so this is Jillian, and then later on 好，我们要看一下19页 中间的地方，不仅是 Gillian 哈，在这里又是 Melandra， 我们说也是一个哈女儿的，在19页中间的地方 ，all right， Melandra 回来以后，她就 got into bed, sitting there, propped up with 2 pillows, reading her old Beano, annuals. I love you, mother, she said. I don't know why I want to live with that cow in the first place. 她现在跟她妈妈比较好了哈，她回来再依靠她妈妈，她就说她的朋友是一只母牛。Okay, so this is the time. 然后再往下3、4、5行的地方，他就说了 ，Yeah, OK， Melandra， 女儿就是这样，所以我就说，有的时候我们要反省一下自己的行为，是不是犯了这样的一个错误哈？对妈妈呀欲所欲求的这样子，他就说，We will go downtown on Saturday, shall we, mother? We will do a bit of shopping. Hey, just you and me. I was nodding, and then she had been back 10 minutes, and then I have gone straight into being auto mother. OK, auto mother 就是说，不管她要什么，女儿都要求她，她就得去完成。So this is an auto mother. OK, so later on, of course, Melandra get angry, and then she said, Why are you going to Greece? 因为她就讲你回来刚好，女儿那你照顾你爸，让我出门一下。Melandra 不干了 ，Melandra 就很生气。Okay, Melandra really said that, yeah, you should feel ashamed. Why are you going to Greece? I feel it's disgusting. 他跟他妈妈这样讲，我觉得好恶心哦。你们中年2个中年妇女，OK, on page 20， 大家看 page 20。Page 20 1/3下来的地方，middle-aged women going on their own to Greece. Melandra said, I think it's disgusting. Disgusting. 他直接这样讲而且他就直接把他的东西，他就说，那我要走了，我才不要待在家里他直接又把东西丢到楼下去 ，OK. And then, of course, her daughter feels this way. So this is the reason that, Shirley Bradshaw feels so sorry for herself. And then she said that, yes, maybe my daughter is right? What am I going there for? And the truth of, of the matter was that she actually was going for the excitement of not knowing where she is going, and this is the reason, as we say that, from kitchen to the beach, right? From England, Greece. This after that, all right. 很好，谢谢以欣成功加入。all right, thank you. So this is the reason, as we find, yes, okay. As we just said, why does one, travel? What does it mean to travel? And again, as we said that, yes, 等一下以欣要加入and asked, wait, okay, 等我一下，我看一下佩蓉、以欣和宇璇，好，把他加进来了，那就要再把连结，对不对？那我
那个
可以吗？
后面
可不可以把连结再给？对，因为我现在一边好，谢谢。
我有贴在那个
好，
窗
有，
所以应该可以看得到。
对。宇贤已经对上课连结就进去，可是宇贤打一下字，OK， Shirley 帮忙一下，好。 他们进来了吗？还没有进来，对，他们还没有。好 ，OK， 好，那这时候 ，all right， as we just said, why, sometimes from one place to another, physically, right? One moves. The so-called travel. 注意这个是 travel or transplant, transport 都有，对不对？跨越的一个含义，从一个地方到另外一个地方 ，from one place to another, and also to suggest, this learning experience. This also suggests from the known to the unknown. You can never tell what will happen, right, on the journey or when you go to another place. What will happen there? What can you learn there? You see? So this is the reason, as we find, traveling itself can also excitement, right? 有人说，要旅行真的会很兴奋，因为什么？我们就说是从一个有知你已经很熟悉这个环境，到另外一个 right 环境 ，from one place to another, from the known to the unknown. The unknown, yeah, sometimes people would say dangerous, yes. Risky, right? 冒险 adventurous, yes. What else? 这个 unknown 也有什么？也有一个 learning experience, right? Something that's, in a comfort zone or in a very familiar place, you feel you are okay. But when you go to another place, you will learn to do this and that, and kind of excitement or a kind of learning experience can open you up, okay, can bring you something new. So this is the reason it's very important, as we said, very important to have this kind of, so-called open up new experience. So this is the part here, as we just said, back to our screen, you can see the first turning point is that Shirley Bradshaw, start to look at herself in 在22页中间的地方 okay. As we say that earlier that 在21页下面到22页的地方，他也说 Gillian, right? Gillian, her neighbor, come to give her a silk pajamas. On page 22 in the top, it says that, she just said that, how I wish I can be like you. I hope I can be, courageous as you are. 所以第4行、第5行的地方，22页，大家看一下。when Gillian appears in her door, saying that I want you to have this, Shirley. It's never been worn. You see, I was never enough. Oh, Shirley, how I wish I had. 像你一样这么勇敢。How I wish I had your bravery. 这时候他就讲 right? You're brave, Shirley. I just want you to know, I think you are marvelous. 讲完了，给了他这个 package, 他就走了 right? So Gillian has left her this beautiful, superb silk robe. 真的就像有点丝质的这样一个长衫，有点像就是睡衣，但是一个 robe, yes, a beautiful silk robe. 所以这时候在22页中间的地方 right? In the middle, you can see here, that in Gillian's eyes, I was no longer Shirley the neighbor, Shirley the middle-aged mother. I am Shirley Valentine again. I am Shirley sensational, Shirley the brave, Shirley Valentine. Okay? So this is, again, as we say, the turning point. And then what's the second turning point? As we said that, yes, earlier, she talked about, right, she talked about sexual orgasm. She didn't really enjoy sex. But here, is that right? In Act 2, as we know that with Costa, a stranger, it just happened. Does she really love Costa? No, she doesn't. You can say that deep down, is Shirley herself. She doesn't really give herself away because she wants sex. No. But at that moment, as we say, in that moment, with the sea, the ocean, and they were on a boat, okay? And it just happened. Later on, no second time, and she doesn't want to give herself away. Not because, she loves or she doesn't love, nothing to do with Costa anymore. But the most important thing is she fight herself back. She find that, okay, at the age of 42, she is not an old lady. She can still be attractive. All right. So this is the most important thing that, later on, she can find her confidence back. Okay. On page 28, she actually find, this person. Yeah, she said, "Oh, I met him. Yeah, not really called, yeah, Christopher Columbus. No, she actually, said that yes, she is lovely. Huh? Her, his name is called Costa, but is Costa really his real name? Well, it's not important. Okay, yeah, but you know, here, why she want to call Christopher Columbus just because she finds a new experience. Okay, so this is the reason. She said, I call him Christopher Columbus. Yes, all right. So this is again association. Okay, I want you to look at page 28, the last one third. From bottom 1/3的地方，你会看到什么？他是说 I never, again, she said it wasn't really the idea. I wouldn't really have met Christopher Columbus. 好，在这里他就说 He kissed my stretch marks. 这我要你们学。你在查字典的时候，我们说赘肉，赘肉就叫做 stretch marks。你不要问我为什么，英文就这样讲，它的赘肉，也就是说它的在这个腹部就是在腰围上一圈，这个 stretch marks，他说 Yeah, he did. He said they were lovely because they were as part of me, and I was lovely. He said. 你看这一段话我觉得很重要，他说这些赘肉不应该被藏起来 right? Stretch marks were to be hidden away. They were to be displayed, to be proud of. 理由是什么呢？他说这个也是好像我们现在都听过了哈，大家都说不要把你的皱纹藏起来，皱纹代表你曾经活过，活过。好，他就说什么 He said, my stretch marks showed that I was alive, that I had survived, that they were marks of life. 生命的一个什么很大的轨迹，这个 marks of life，一个生命的记号。呀，这个人满嘴的，狗屁 ，aren't man full of shit？ 他就讲这个 shit 是指 bullshit，谎言连篇意思。可他也是很爱听 你可以感觉他说话的这个语气哈。我们之前就在讲这整部剧哈。第一个 ，Yeah, you have to imagine that a woman, okay, yeah, on stage and then talking to the audience directly. But how does she use, again, her tone, intonation, even her facial along with some gestures and maybe some act movements on stage to create, a very wonderful play, a wonderful drama. But at the same time, if people just listen to her, with closed eyes, they can still enjoy, you see, this different intonation. And then she is like talking to the audience. 它这个 very colloquial, conversational, right? Dialogues, very much like a chatting. So this also can be very much like a chat room, drama, and also radio drama. The idea is there. So over here again, all right, now Alice is in. Good, I'm glad. All right, so you can see here on page 31. Okay, yeah. Oh, no, 30 on page 30. Yeah, on page 30, you also can see. Thank you, Judy. Thank you. Yeah, because they just join in, they cannot see the link. So thank you, Judy. Yeah, okay. So over here again, on page 30, from 1/3 down, 1/3下来的地方，你会看到 when Shirley looks back, she said, I thought to myself, my life has been a crime, really, a crime against God. That means I didn't live it fully. 没有好好享受上天给他的这个生命。She said, I'd allowed myself to live this little life when inside me there was so much more that I could have lived a bigger life, with, well, again, but it had all gone unused. 所以我有时候读到这，我都会想到，我们如果内心有许多想法，有很多想望，想做什么，就去试试看吧。OK， 呀，坏事不要试，任何好事，任何一些很好的都可以去试试看，来，不要去想象说啊，我可能行，我可能不行。Again, she said that yes, it had all gone unused. 你有任何的潜力，就去发挥一下，就去试试看。And now it will never be. Why? What do you get all this life, when it can't be used? 所以这个它也是它的一些回应。OK, so 31页他后来就在讲 ，Yeah, she decided to stay in Greece. OK, so when Jane goes back, she asks Jane to bring back her suitcase only. Oh, not really, she asked, but at the last minute, her suitcase, suitcase 会先进去，对不对？最后她决定，她不跟着去，她不跟着 Jane 回英国，所以这也是为什么只有行李回到英国，她人留在了 Greece。OK， 所以在33页的地方，为什么？因为我就觉得还是要回到文本去看。你才会清楚 ，OK， 文本里面他就讲得很清楚好，33页也是1/3下来的地方，等于是整个中间这一大段中间的他就提到什么呢？他说 ，Every day when I woke up, I came down here with Jane, and then when we went coffee or drink at Costa's Taverna, when I was lying in my bed and just dropped off to sleep. It was always there in my head, this shocking thought. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. Okay, so she decided that she's not going back to England, and then she also talked to her husband that way. Okay, yeah, 4 lives down. She said, "We do what we have to do and pretend it's what we want to do." And she said she didn't want to live that kind of life, in England. So she said, "What I wanted to do was to stay here, and to be Shirley Valentine, to be myself, to get myself back." Okay, so this is the reason that Shirley later on goes back, for a job. And then when she goes to find Costa using the same wording to, kind of invite other, you can say, travelers or tourists, yeah, to go to the boating with him. But you know that she is not asking back, to be with Costas. She wants to stay there to work for him so she can be, as we say, independent. She will have the income and she can again earn a living and be herself, to be independent. Okay, so I want to come back to the PowerPoint. Again, as I said, what happened to us in life? Yeah, we have to ask ourselves, yes, not every one of us can do whatever we wish, and then we will have to think, yeah, how do we give ourselves a good life? Sometimes we need to work hard, yes, we have certain goals to achieve, right? Certain dreams to fulfill. Yeah, so this is the idea here. uh, Her, as we say, Shirley Valentine's story also, make us to think about the marriage, about the life, about this so-called, yes, here, as I said, this difficult, a sort of post-liberation, fantasy of good sex. And then how does one rediscover her youth and also passion? you know so it doesn't mean when one gets old you will lose your passion. So this is the part, as we find here, as Shirley once said, yeah, sex is like Sainsbury's, overrated. Sainsbury is a wonderful, a very well-known department store 百货公司。他说，其实在里面的东西也不一定那么好，overrated 就是大家对它的评价有点太高。And here also it says that just a lot of pushing, shoving。那当然在这里是讲到的是 sex 本身，okay. So a lot of so-called pushing and shoving, and then you don't really come away with very much. Okay, so life itself 在这里他又提到了 ，yeah.As we said, what does marriage mean? Yeah. 好，这个我们之前也提到 right? So at the end, as we said, yeah, her son also said, yeah, asking Joe, why don't you just go to fetch her home where she belongs? That means you can also travel to Greece and ask Mama to come back, right? And you can have a trip, you can have a journey, so you can see how she is there herself. So this is the part I want you to, again, take a look, especially the journey theme. Yeah, the journey theme about, we say, from stereo, existence to recapture the 再去好像找回青春的尾巴recapture the youth from unused life to self-awareness。最后Shirley later on sitting on the beach looking at the sea, finding herself back. But again, as we say, if she doesn't leave, okay, England, will she still find herself? Is this quest? 我们不断在问，对不对？旅行是有必要吗？你一定要去到另外一个地方才能找到 所谓的自己的价值吗？当然因人而异。OK， 那当然在这里我们说 ，Yeah, she said that she is falling in love with the idea of living。这个是在35页，我要你看到第一段的地方。上面第一行他就已经讲了哈。他跟 Joe 的电话谈话。The second time Joe phoned, he said, "Oh, you can't run away from life." I said, "Oh, I agreed with him. Now I have found some life. I had no intention to run away from it." You know, and you can imagine Joe must be very angry, right? So again, later, in a way, she said that yes, I have come. 注意在第7行的地方，35页第7行。He said he had promised never to mention it. That means 他可能有不忠的行为。I said no. The only holiday romance I have had is with myself. Okay, Joe, and I think I've come to like myself. 我现在比较喜欢我自己了。Really, I said to him, I said, right? I think I'm all right, Joe. I think that if I saw me, I'd say, oh, that woman is okay. You see, she's alive. You see. So this is the reason. She also said, yes, I think I have the romance with myself. I had fallen in love with the idea of living. So this is very important. Yeah. As I said, we are really glad for Shirley. Yes. Okay. And then, again, as we said, Willy Russell seemed to be saying to everyone, to every audience or the reader, to suggest that, okay, we should stop whining, complaining. 我用 whining 这边呻吟抱怨 whining, yes, about your situation, but start living. Yeah, start 好好的活。So again, as we said, yeah, all right. 这里我也问大家一些问题。Are you satisfied with what you are now? If not, yeah, what do you do, to change the present situation? What do you need to do to make yourself happy? Okay, 就是这样的一个很有趣的All right， 我要再等一下，我要把它关起来，然后我要，干嘛要储存？All right, anyhow，好，我要给同学看另外一个，你们可以自己再去看，等一下，对，我要给大家看这个。我要给大家看一下现在的画面。没有了。我不能够，你们知道吗？我好像不能够给你们看我现在。好，没关系，你们去，我也可以再提醒，因为我之前已经放在 Trunk Class 上面，对，就是那个电影的连结。电影我就说有一点点不一样，譬如说他跟儿子没有像电影里面那样 OK， 但是电影是这样拍，是蛮有趣的，是 OK。 好，大家有没有问题要分享要问的？赶快5分钟问一下。有吗？有人要举手吗？还是你们就要下线了？有谁有问题吗？你们听得到我吗？
还有我。
是的，对，就是害我。Yeah, OK， 好，那你们就知道这个连结。 OK， 好
To a microwave.
All right.
Whoa, what's the world coming to?
对，非常有趣，而且我们知道这个Pauline Collins 演得非常的好，他就是这部剧让他声名大噪。他把这个中年妇女演得非常的好，没关系，大家因为我已经给大家连结了哈，大家可以有时间就看一部好电影。其实家人也可以看，除了就是有 sex 那个场景，不过只有一点点。他这部电影也演得非常的含蓄呀，对，好，所以有问题吗？要举个小手来，好，那这样子的话，大家应该都进来了。That Victoria, Alice, and who else? Yeah, came in very late. You've been waiting, but then, yeah, I don't know that who didn't come in, through line, but through line now it should be okay. 所以我们以后就是用 line 对做个连接这样子，好吗 ？OK， 好，谢谢 Elaine， 谢谢 OK， 好，那有没有什么问题？没有问题，或者你有问题，你们可以 discussion board 再把它写出来分享一下。OK， 好，那就现在先大家要下线了哈。OK， 拜拜。All right， 好。OK， 谢谢。还好吗？还习惯吗？那下星期我们也是这样哈。好，Wanda 举手了。Wanda 有问题要问吗？可以说话吗？Wanda 可以说。